What's up and welcome back to the Kind of Funny Gamescast for Monday, September 8th, 2025. Of course, I am your host, Tim Geddes. I'm joined today by Andy Cortez.
Hello.
Making a rare appearance here at the Gamescast deck, it's Barrett Courtney.
Yo, what up?
And for some reason, Greg Miller's here.
Hey, Tim, how are
He's
you?
not alone.
This man doesn't play games.
Cole Beans is here, too.
He's here. Cole's here, everybody.
The real star.
Look at the fear in his eyes.
Very
What is
excited
going
for this.
on?
Obviously, we're talking about Hollow Knight Silksong today, so I am interested in why Greg Miller might be here. A game that we would not expect him to play. Has he been playing it? You're about to find out, because this is the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Each and every weekday, we get together to talk about the biggest reviews, previews, and topics in video games live on YouTube, Twitch, and podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, please get the Kind of Funny membership. It gets you the shows ad-free, and you get a daily exclusive Greg Way. For a chance to be part of this show, though, submit your thoughts and opinions as YouTube Super Chats as we go. The Super Chats are already coming in. We have a real head scratcher from Kebab saying, which is better, HK or KH? Hollow Knight or Kingdom Hearts? I need everybody to think about that. I know it might be a hard question for everyone to answer.
Sure,
but Andy, by the end of this episode, I need you to definitively make the call of which is better, HK or KH, okay?
Oh, man, I wasn't prepared to do something like that today, but
Sorry
I'll
to
do
put
my
you on the
best.
spot.
I'm
but
glad
it
you
was
explained
Kebab's.
it too, because HK, my head goes to Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say Harry
Yeah,
Cotter.
Harry Cotter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, we're in 11 person business.
Harry Cotter.
Nick's back today. That was some Nick shit, Andy.
Sorry.
Has Nick seen the shark yet?
I don't know.
He's been in the studio.
walked by.
Okay.
But like, did he notice it though?
I don't know, man.
he's just thinking about Dune and his
We got to beat the light out of his eyes. I don't like when he comes in all happy and refreshed.
Housekeeping for you. We're an 11 person business, all about live talk shows. Games Daily was all about reports of PlayStation 6 next big feature. The next big feature?
Yeah.
You're not having a disc drive?
Yeah.
Okay. After this, we returned to Cuckoo in review with Conjuring Last Rites. Yes,
Donkey Kong.
James and Elise will be joining us remotely, but very excited to have them back on Kind of Funny Content to talk about what big old Bathsheba's up to.
Have you
know?
seen any of the rumblings out there on the internet lately?
rumblings.
I don't know where to address everything that's been going on in my
Ladies,
text, Greg, but
Gentlemen, NBs, if you watch Conjuring in review, Conjuring Last Rites in review, I guarantee I will change your life.
Oh, my God.
he's been threatening
my
this
God.
for a couple days.
Put up a subreddit post, Andy.
Oh, no. Oh, no. That's the
I'm
number
excited.
one.
I'm going to tune in.
Unrelated to that, on the text thread that is Greg and Nick, but Andy and I happen to be on it. We did get a text from Nick after not hearing from him from weeks because he was gone, that just says, Greg, 9/11's coming up, just a reminder. And Greg says, welcome back, Nick. And me and Andy just have to deal with this, you know. And then
have to
last
see it.
night I get a text from Greg. Actually, earlier in the day, I got a text from Greg
What
saying,
time?
let's see.
What time did I send
3:38 p.m. 3:38 p.m. I got a text. Let me know when you're eating dinner. And I said, I hate you. Fear-inducing. And he said, just let me know. We go back
you let
and
him know?
forth.
No,
I
he didn't let me
texted
know.
some
I
other
had to
shit.
send him another one of like, let me know when you're eating dinner.
Then at 8:26, he goes, let me know when you're eating dinner. And my plans for the day got all out of whack. She ended up having dinner with her friend. So I was like, oh, fuck, I have to order something. Dinner was not on my mind.
Okay.
So I ended up not eating until pretty late. I eventually do text him, I'm eating dinner. And he replies, I've never seen garbage eat garbage before.
Got him.
Fucking nailed it.
You got him.
What did you
so
say?
good.
Because you had a good response.
I truly don't know what to say.
That ended the conversation. We
that
didn't
was
say anything
it,
else.
and here we are now.
making the Gamescast.
Everybody, if you're kind of funny, remember today's Greg Ways 21 minutes about how you are looking at the future of PC, Xbox, and PlayStation handhelds all wrong. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and Delaney the Psalm Twining. Today we're brought to you by Shady Raisin Factor, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's start with the topic of the show. It's Hollow Knight Silksong review so far. The game is here. Everybody has been waiting for it. Where is it going to be announced? When is it going to come? We have all those answers and more. The four of us have been playing it to different degrees and different levels. Andy Cortez, how much have you played?
I've played probably around 32 hours or so. You know, you got to subtract some time during the marathon stream where I wasn't playing the game.
Sure.
And then I played a bit more over the weekend. And yeah, so probably, I would say 32 hours conservatively.
Yeah. Barrett, Courtney, what about you?
I've put in 39 hours because I was kind of stuck in bed with nothing else to do but play this game and also have Andy stream on. So, yeah.
Yeah. Greg Miller, how
That's
much
it.
have you played of Hollow Knight Silksong?
I'm just shy of 10 hours right now on my save. My Xbox app says a little over 12 hours, though, so I'm not sure what the discrepancy is there now.
Yeah, and I am about 13 hours in to Hollow Knight Silksong. So we're going to have a fun conversation here. I want to start with Andy Cortez. You are the only one here that has beat Hollow Knight 1. You are a big Hollow Knight fan. You've been very excited for Silksong. Has it lived up to your expectations so far?
1,000,000%. It has surpassed all of the expectations, I would say, which is so tough to do. I think the game continues to surprise at so many different turns. It's thinking back to maybe it was a Games Daily or a Gamescast where me and Greg were talking about it, and what would it take for it to live up to those expectations? What are you hoping to get out of it? And for me, it was really awesome boss fights in an imaginative world, but also just a lot of weird little dudes.
Yeah.
And this game's filled to the brim with weird little dudes. And I love hearing their stories, and I love learning about them, and then moving on to new spots and getting updates on the weird little dudes. It's a great time so far with some completely different mechanics that I wasn't expecting. I was expecting the charm system to be back, which is what Hollow Knight had, where when you upgrade your charms, you might have 8 charm slots, and that one good charm is it takes up 4 slots, but you can go with like 5 1-slot charms or whatever, you know what I mean? Like I was expecting that system to be back, but I really am enjoying the different take on what if you give the character loadouts, like combat loadouts, which is really cool and different, and I just wasn't expecting that, and it's been really cool seeing the community not only experience the game in a lot of different ways, but also experiencing it combat-wise and going, oh, I've been using this charm, I've been using this, oh, you're using that, I love that. This one move is awesome. I love the run-up attack. I don't love this. It's so cool how varied this video game is, and yeah, I mean they crushed it, and I think it's going to sell a decent amount.
Barrett, you're Mr. Nine Souls.
Yes.
Are you becoming Mr. Hollow Knight?
In ways, yes. In other ways, I'm doubting myself for sure. I've just definitely hit a wall yesterday that I've been stuck on for a few hours. So I don't know.
So
if I got
explain
it like
that.
I've been stuck on one particular fight for the last 9 hours.
9 hours
of gameplay. This game's tough, and yeah, I'm someone who never gave the original Hollow Knight like its proper due, right? Despite Andy's singing its praises for years.
I was
but
the only one.
Yeah, you're the only one.
No
no
one
one
ever
else
heard about your coverage here. Kind of funny with Andy.
But I did fall in love with Nine Souls. What was that, last year? And a lot of people made the comparisons of like if Hollow Knight is Dark Souls 1 for the kind of 2D Metroidvania, really tough action game, Nine Souls very much felt like Sekiro in a lot of ways. And so going to like a different developer's take on all of this, I was excited to see like what kind of inspired like the people to need to meme this game to absolute hell, what clearly inspired Nine Souls and all this stuff. And yeah, I adore this game. Obviously, I've put nearly 40 hours into it in just the last few days, right? But this game is way tougher than I expected it to be, even playing through Nine Souls. But I'm still just in love with it, even though I've bashed my head against a wall for the last 9 hours of just fully just being immersed in this world and kind of truly seeing, like, even though it is a 2D Metroidvania, how Souls it feels. And not just because, like, oh, it's a hard game, but in terms of world design and, you know, level design that, like, Andy always talks about, that this game does, and I assume Hollow Knight 1 does in ways that, like, I don't feel other 2D Metroids doing in a lot of ways, of how some interconnected spots can come back around and make you forget where you were in the world. Also, just like what Andy was saying of these weird little dudes and checking in on them and seeing them in places that you weren't expecting throughout the world, I've just absolutely adored. And then the combat is just so fun, and when you get into that flow state against a boss that you've been struggling with for like the last hour, it just nothing feels as good as it, right? And so yeah, coming off as from 9 Souls going into this, I'm like, I'm so glad we have another game like this, and I understand why people were highly anticipating this for years. I'm excited to give Hollow Knight 1 a shot eventually as well.
Now, Greg Miller, probably the biggest
Sam.
surprise to be here as you playing this game. I want to hear all about it. What's your journey been like, and do you see yourself sticking with it?
I can't believe that I'm here, Tim. We did the whole thing with Hollow Knight and the build up to it and your anticipated games and yada, yada, yada. But like, I was like, I'll give it a shot. I remember trying Hollow Knight 1 and being like, I see the quality, but it's just not what I want to do kind of thing. This one was it just caught me so off guard, the vibe of it. And it happened so naturally. We woke up on Thursday morning. Ben had a fever. That meant, all hands on deck. I'm going to stay home since Jen's got meetings and I could do my stuff that I could do from home, blah, blah, blah. And so we're on the couch and he's super sick. And I turned on the stream to see what Andy was up to. And he heard, he's like, what is that? I'm like, oh, Tio Andy's streaming this game called Hollow Knight. You want to watch? He said, yeah. And so he threw it up on the big TV. And it took about 5 minutes. And Ben was like, can we play this game? I'm like, yeah, of course. You're sick on the couch. We can do anything you want, buddy. So I busted out the ROG and I went to Xbox and I downloaded it right away. Passed it to him. He started playing it. But he got to that thing of like, Dad, can you help? I'm like, yeah, sure. And I went through and did it. And then but then it was this one where he let me play and then I'd pass it back. And it was our normal thing. But when we would get to these spots, he would just let me go for way longer than usual because he was sick too. I think had something to do with it. And then we got what I thought was really, I think one of the reasons I connected with it, well, there's 2 big reasons. And one of them would be when we'd get to it, of course, Ben can't read. So then I started reading it like I read him his books at bedtime. And so I was like doing a little bit of, tone changes, nothing crazy, but, for when I'm being Hornet or when I'm being one of the weird guys we're talking to.
You're a union worker, so like they can't, he wasn't paying.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't want to have to file a complaint with SAG.
Yeah.
But it, doing that immediately made everybody more endearing to me. And then, but playing it, I was like, holy shit, this is so much fun. And the fact that Ben was enjoying it, even though obviously it's tough for him at times or whatever, and then us enjoying it together. And then it became this really weird one of like, he went to bed and I was like, or to nap. And I was like, okay. And then I'm just playing it. And he went to bed at night and I went downstairs and put it on the Xbox and just kept running with it. And I think for me, it's crazy that it's scratching an itch I've had since finishing Hell Is Us. I finished Hell Is Us, and Hell Is Us's whole thing, right, is we're not going to hold your hand. It's player plattering. Go figure it out. And I'm working on another review at the same time, Redacted, that I was planning on playing all Thursday. And whether it's good, bad, or otherwise, that game, Redacted is hey, go here and do this. Yeah. Follow line and do this. Okay. And coming into that after Hell Is Us, I was like, ooh, I'm kind of missing what am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed? And so to jump into Hollow Knight Silksong and find that, I was like, oh shit, holy fuck. Like I have a little flame that has been over here that's been started, and now it's become a fire of me actually wanting to do this.
A bonfire,
someone said. And so, yeah, will I finish it? Will I do the whole thing? Yada, yada. Of course not. Probably not. Like, I think I'm going to go, today, now that we're doing this, I finished Gamescast and it's right back to Redacted. And I need to make up a lot of time that I lost with Ben being sick for Redacted. And I'm excited for that, of course, because I like my job, but I want to keep going with this. And I can't tell you the pride I had in myself when I was on Blue Sky last night or 2 nights ago, and like IGN was like, he's not one of the named bosses, but a lot of people are having trouble with this. And I clicked on it, I was like, beat this guy's ass. You know what I mean? And it's like, again, like I don't like getting run through rubbed in broken glass, and not if I get to a boss it's going to take me 9 hours, I doubt that'll be what I stick it out. But it is the thing of Hollow Knight Silksong is so good and so rewarding, and I feel like there are such nice stretches of just going, I beat the things, maybe I lose, maybe I don't, whatever. I pick up my rosary beads and I come back to it. I get so much Rogue Legacy out of it, where it's like, even when I have a bad run, I feel like I still did something. I accomplished something. I expanded the map. I found what I need to do, blah, blah, blah. And so for the bosses I have fought and I have beaten, it's been that idea of like, okay, cool, it's taken me a few tries, and I wish I was, and not even that I wish I was doing it. I understand what I'm doing wrong. And the fact that I have a bench 2 screens away, it's not like I ran up the mountain and fell down and slid down and now I got to go. Like, I am living for this game right now, Tim. I really, really love this.
I did love during that marathon stream seeing Greg pop in and go, I just beat the Bell Beast, Annie. I feel so alive.
Yeah. And it's that thing of like, it's not the experience I had with Bloodborne. Like I've tried other Souls, but I've rolled credits in Bloodborne, and like even with Hell Is Us, there's so many people are like, oh, in the comments, Greg is like loves this game, but he doesn't like he would love a Souls game if you give it a shot. But it's like, well, games are so many different things of setting, characters, story. Like, you know what I mean? I'd read a book if I just wanted a good story. Like something about Hollow Knight, something about the characters, the weird little dudes, as you said, Jason Schreier said on launch day on Blue Sky, like something about them, about Hornet, about the world is just so endearing that, yeah, I want to be there. And yeah, I want to keep going. And when I run into these bosses, I lost, but it's like I didn't lose a gajillion beads because I've been playing this strategically of if I'm trying to save up for something, then I'm not engaging in that kind of thing. I'm just running a loop here to get... I'm having a great time, Tim, and I want to play more, but I am worried about review season.
Tim, how about you?
God, I love this game.
Hell yeah.
I do really, really worry that I'm going to hit some walls that I'm not going to be able to get past. And I've gotten to a couple walls. Like there was a boss that took me an hour and a half last night, and that was very frustrating, but I did it, and it felt really good afterwards. This fucking, what's his name? The Shadow Beast
Savage
Ball?
Beast Fly.
Savage goddamn
Savage
Beast,
Beast Fly,
man.
baby.
Holy shit. And I first played it, Andy. I get in there, and I'm like, I'm going to beat this fucker's ass. Like, I had such a good run on my
so
first
stupid. Like, I'm going to kick his ass.
And also, I'm like, I got your pattern down. Like, yeah, throw your little guys at me. That's fine. I got this. Die. And then I'm like, okay, again and again and again. And eventually I'm like, how did I think I had this? Like, that's crazy.
He took me the longest.
Yeah, it was wild, man. But yeah, what a fulfilling experience there. Love this game so far. And I think a big part of it is almost in opposition to what Greg's saying, where for Hollow Knight, I've started it up so many times. And on paper, it is a dream game for me, just visually, how it sounds like a simple 2D Metroidvania that is combat focused. Like so much of that is my shit.
The soundtrack.
But Hollow Knight, I feel, has always the opening hours of Hollow Knight 1 really just feel like it's aimless. You don't know where you're going. It is that kind of like no direction, like no like waypoints telling you where to go. This one so far, I'm like, oh, it's a Metroidvania, baby. Like I feel like I always know where I'm supposed to go. I feel like it does a really good job of guiding me. And starting the game out, Hornet feels way more kitted out than the first character did.
The Knight, yeah.
At least in the early game. And for a lot of the hesitations I had for how slow I was moving, even in Silksong, quickly you get the dash. You get like these things that I'm like, oh my God, I'm zooming around and loving it. Like I love the locomotion of this game. And I feel like that to me is the make or break for if I'm enjoying a Metroidvania and if it's worth pushing through some of the brutal difficulty, which is just not my thing. Like I really don't like that type of experience. And so far with this, I feel like the bosses have been fair, and like the different some of the, in addition to bosses, like some of the challenge rooms where they just keep throwing waves of enemies at you, like that stuff can get really, really tough. It's real good. These fucking birds are flying around you. I'm like, I fucking hate these birds.
Oh God.
But it's like, I feel the game works best when it allows you to just get back to the mistake you made and to try to fix it. I really am not vibing with the run back stuff and certain areas of like having to get to back to where you were. I'm like, it's the normal enemies are difficult enough and hard enough to like get around that I'm like, after I've done this a couple times, I'm like, I don't need to do it 100 more. And I understand get good, but that stuff does get in my way and kind of pads the runtime of this game that I'm just like, I understand why. And that is for a lot of people. It's not for me, and that's fine.
Yeah, I think this game is definitely a lot tougher than Hollow Knight at the start. And on the opposite side, way less obtuse, right? But the number one question that was asked a million times during this marathon stream is, what are some immediate differences? Can I hop in here? Is it harder? And I would say that Hollow Knight at the start is definitely not as difficult as this, where there were times where I'm early into Silksong, I'm going, oh my God, I'm getting chunked for 2 ticks of damage. That's crazy right now because I have 5 of these ticks of damage, 5 masks, and little did I know that I was about 12 hours from getting the 6th mask piece. So it's like I think it's definitely a lot more. It's a lot more friendly in terms of player onboarding and tutorializing. Not really tutorializing, but just like, really good tutorial stuff where you don't really feel like you're doing a tutorial. But I think it's a lot tougher on the other side of things where it's just, environmental damages taken away 2 mask pieces, and that's where I would recommend to everybody that this is the time right now that if you're liking the game and if you're playing on PC, to download those mods. Download the mods that will help you. And because I don't want you to just give up on this experience, because I know how punishing it could be. And I was already floating that idea out there to Greg, and people were like, "Oh, Andy's saying Greg's bad at games." Like, no, Greg has a kid and a family and doesn't want to spend 3 hours on a boss fight. So, like, help, there are these mods out there already through Nexus Mods, and I can easily run you through this shit and help you and just do it for you, because I think a lot of these mods are a bit more helpful. And yes, you're changing the core of the game, but I'd rather the core of the game be changed and you just give up on what could be one of your favorite experiences ever. If it were a game that just had difficulty options. You know?
And then that goes back to the favorite experiences ever. It's like, goddamn, this game is so special. Like, the art being so unique, and every single thing, nothing feels like tiles next to each other. Every single bit feels like it was handcrafted. And I don't know for a fact that it was, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, right? Like, it really feels like, in addition to the beautiful animations of each character and designs of the world and everything, it feels like every single room is its own experience.
100% deliberate.
And I can't believe how the every frame of painting concept is true for literally every frame in this game. Like, every single shot in this I would put on my wall in my house. Like, it's so gorgeous and unique. And Andy and I talk about the puppeting tool all the time, and like, when games just have that flash aesthetic. And I feel like when you look at Hollow Knight, this might just, it would not in motion, just a screenshot of it, you might be like, we've seen this before. And it's like, no, you fucking haven't. Like, nothing is quite like this.
And like the soundtrack behind it as well, of every frame, right, is just like so beautiful and unique, and the range that it has. Like, the early segments feel kind of like very typical of like this weird kind of wilderness that you're in, and exploring that. And then just like the way things will change over time. And like, Andy and I are in an area right now that, like, I'm excited him to like really explore, just because the way the score evolves and gets weird at times is just fucking incredible. That reminds me of some games that I won't say out loud just to not spoil some things, but again, just like, y'all haven't seen shit yet in terms of visual design and sound score, and even like sound design. There's just like, the game like keeps just going and amping those things up to another degree, where, they were in that interview with Schreier, where they're just like, oh yeah, we just like kind of kept making this game. And there were moments where I'm like, oh, I could see possibly early on, this is where they wanted to finish the game. This is like, this would have been the final beat or whatever. And then they just kept making more and more, and that more and more, for the most part, is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's immediately evident right where we're at. Like, no wonder this took so long. Yeah, because it's a pretty tiny team, and they are putting every ounce of love into how handcrafted all of this area is. And I had a great time watching very popular YouTuber Mossbag over the weekend, who does a lot of Hollow Knight lore stuff. Super funny. I'm not saying anything new to Hollow Knight fans that don't know this, but he a video from 5 years ago, which is like complete lore of Hollow Knight, and it's just so eye-opening, because how deliberate things are, and then you realize that you don't really know how deliberate a lot of the design is, and a lot of the art, and a lot of why that thing is in that room, and why this thing is here, and everything is just so purposeful. And like, dude,
another way that it feels,
killing it.
Another way that it feels like a Souls game, like a FromSoft game, in terms of that. And that was like kind of the cool way of like experiencing this finally over the weekend, because when you hear like, oh, this game is very like Souls, you just think of like, oh, hard combat. But in terms of how it subtly delivers you story through the context of the world, I think it's very well done, and rarely seen in like as deliberate in these types of games, that I'm just falling in love with. And I just want to shout out how good it looks on Switch 2. I also just played Shinobi on Switch 2. Let me tell you, Shinobi does not look good on Switch 2. And it's crazy just like how Shinobi kicks ass. That's a great game. I finished it. It was fucking great. But man, it was just like, after playing Shinobi, I was like, man, where do I want to play this game? And I still like went for the Switch version. I was like, God damn, it's crazy how good this game looks.
Yeah, Andy, I imagine you're playing on PC.
Been playing on PC a lot and on Steam Deck a little bit. Yeah, that OLED Steam Deck looks real nice.
I would say maybe like 90% PC on my TV, 120 frames, baby. It's fucking insane.
That's how we streamed the whole thing here. Barrett and Kevin got it working to where I was getting 120 frames. Looked amazing on that OLED.
Dude, just the animation of when you just go left and right and like she's just so fucking smooth, looking like
awesome.
Alucard in Symphony Night. I love it. And then maybe 10% on the Steam Deck, OLED, and it looks great. This game needs HDR. I'm really sad it doesn't have HDR. That's I get it, small team or whatever. Also, guys, it's fucking Hollow Knight Silksong. Like I'm a little upset about that, but there's like Andy was saying, there's mods for that as well. I haven't been able to get them to work, but I'm a fucking idiot, so I might have Andy help me there. But it looks so damn good and it runs so well both on deck and on TV. But my problem with the Steam Deck is this is a game I need to lock in for. So it's like I can't be watching something and playing at all.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like
for
this
sure.
is which is my majority of Steam Deck use. Otherwise, I'm using the TV.
Yeah.
But there has been a couple times I've been in bed just playing.
Last night, I was playing and Jen was asleep next to me, and it was that thing where I didn't bother putting on headphones, which I know is sin, but I love the soundtrack to the game. Don't get me wrong. So, but it was then just and it was one of the bosses, so it was just like, and I kept dying, so it was the rhythmic like, tick, 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 tick,
Yeah.
tick, and then it'd be like a stop, and I'm like, I wonder if she's putting it together what's happening, because it would be a hard stop, and then it'd be like run, tick, 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 trying to get it all done. Yeah, I for me it's been pretty split between Xbox Series X and the ROG Ally.
Yeah, I've been kind of rocking both. It is one of those, like, if I'm playing handheld, I need Alyssa to watch something that I don't give a shit about. So I can, like,
last
kind of
night Jen finally
fully
broke
focus.
down and started Peacemaker season 2, and when she's like fine, I was like, okay, that down. I'm not whatever bullshit you were doing before I was playing. Once that starts, come on, now we gotta watch the Peacemaker.
But yeah, it runs great on Switch 2. I've been doing just the 60 frames per second mode, just because if I do 120, I think I sacrifice a little bit of resolution there on the Switch. But it running 60 like on a really good looking OLED TV like on the Switch 2 is really damn impressive. So yeah, I've been enjoying my time, and also I've been really preferring that as well, not just because of like having it on a big screen, but someone in the marathon stream chat was suggesting at one point with a lot of people struggling with the kind of downstrike with the pogo, because mentally I'm always like, all right, if she's going diagonal, then I need to move the stick downward diagonal, which like will sometimes work, sometimes not, but you need to be doing that down press. And someone suggested tying one of the back buttons to down, and that has been like such a good game changer for me of like having that, like the controller with the back button to actually really nail that pogo.
When I realized
really
I was
the game,
I was becoming a different gamer before this game, it was when I abandoned the stick and went to the D-pad. Like, that's not who I am. But I was like, for the diagonal shit, I was like, I got to do this. And then I just for one of the early bosses, I was like, I got to get over here. And I've just been stuck on. I'm just D-pad. And
Nice.
I'm all about it, Andy.
Wow.
Someone in the chat, I think it was Bander, was saying that they're having a lot of problems with D-pad recognition of it just not working. I was telling Andy right before this that, and I was on Games Daily when I gave my initial thoughts on playing the game. Like, I was having so much trouble with those diagonals. And then I realized my DualSense, the Bluetooth, wasn't registering. And the moment I plugged it in, it worked perfectly.
Fine.
So maybe try to play wired if you're having issues, because that solved everything for me, even though it's inconvenient.
Yeah, the down on the back paddle really changed a lot of stuff. There's a boss run back much later on that I think is wildly punishing, but by the end of it, because I was dying to the boss so much, it was just like you could do it in my sleep, and it just felt so good to hit all those button commands and feeling so smooth while doing it, you know?
Yeah. I want to keep talking about Hollow Knight Silksong, but first, here's a word from our sponsor. This episode's brought to you by Shady Rays. You know that moment. The one when you realized you left your favorite pair of sunglasses at the beach. We've all been there. I'll never forget leaving my incredibly overpriced sunglasses at a restaurant in Santa Monica. That was 13 years ago, and it still haunts me to this day. But then I found Shady Rays and everything changed. Seriously good looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. And here's the wild part. If you lose or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So now you can actually wear your sunglasses without fear. Y'all know I've been outside in the sun a lot playing Pokemon Go, and it's such a great experience wearing Shady Rays when I'm all out and about. Shady Rays is eyewear that has your back. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Check this out. You can head to shadyrays.com, use code FUNNY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Shady Rays, use the code FUNNY.
Between busy schedules and summer plans, sometimes all you got is a couple of minutes. Factor helps so many of us here at Kinda Funny eat smarter with tasty, chef-prepped meals that are dietitian-approved and delivered right to my door. And now, with more than 65 weekly meals made for how we live and what I like to eat, we've got even more ways to fit in a real meal wherever the day takes us. On many occasions, Factor has completely saved Greg and Jen when they needed it most. Choose from a wider selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp at no extra cost. Eat smart at factormeals.com/kindafunny50 off and use code kindafunny50 off to get 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code kindafunny50 off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase.
We're back.
Greg, I'm worried that I may have gotten your hopes up for mods because you're playing on the Xbox store.
Yeah, but I must have not been in the Twitch chat when you suggested that I use mods if it ever got tough or whatever, and I wouldn't. I don't think. Like again, like
Real gamer.
here's my hope with this game. Again, Greg sucks at games or whatever they said there. True, I usually like a 13-year-old coming of age story. Maybe there's a dead parent involved, visual novel. But I don't think it's so much I'm bad at games as much as like I usually am just not drawn to Metroidvanias, let alone punishing Metroidvanias.
Oh, nobody was making fun of you. No. They were saying, oh, Andy's telling Greg that he sucks at games for suggesting mods.
Yeah. I know.
And yes, but it was like, no, I just, people got time, and
I hear that, and so, but my interest level in Hollow Knight right now, and how much I am enjoying Hollow Knight right now, and the fact that I saw a couple other, they might have been former industry games journos types talking about, since it's just out, we've all been lifted from the burden of an embargo. You know what I mean? We're not rushing to try to, and the people talking about they're going to chip away at it and do this. My hope would be that would be my life with it, where I love this game. Playing this game, I'm so like, fuck, I got to go back to play Hollow Knight 1. You know what I mean? I already downloaded it to the Xbox at home. Like, I know I'm so far from that. It's that idea, though, of like, all right, cool, from here to Redacted, from that to Ghost of Yote, from that to probably some other Redacted game or whatever. When do I actually get back to it? And when will muscle memory and all of that jazz? But my hope is, again, the way I see the game is, I know it's punishing. I haven't run into those difficulty spikes yet. I know there's skill checks coming up.
And maybe like by the time you get to them, there will be
patches or something.
Well,
like
not
that.
even balance patches, but more people figuring out like the metas to certain fights, where it's like we're coming in to certain points where like everybody else is coming in with us. So it's everybody at the same time is trying to figure out like, how do we get past this certain fight that some people are saying is harder than the final boss kind of thing.
Yeah, and so like, for me, though, coming back to it, like I take so much enjoyment of, all right, cool, I'm just going to do a Night of Rosary. I'm just going to go do normal enemies in this area, just farm them, get all the stuff here. I still haven't bought that key. I found the locked door, but the key's over there for 500 beads, but I kept waiting for, I'm going to run into that boss on this. I'm going to run into the skill check where I just can't do it. I get frustrated and I walk away. And instead I've run into several bosses that I was like, okay, fuck, let's pay attention. What are you doing? Okay, and I beat them in 5 tries or 6 tries, maybe, whatever it is. But it's not, I haven't hit that wall where I'm like, I can't progress, so I'm going to go back and do something else. When I hit that wall, my hope is to go back and get all the other things that I haven't done and then come back. Like, back to the Hell Is Us comparison, I just enjoyed running around the world. And so not having the embargo on top of me and not feeling like the game is like, you got to get to the top of the Citadel. Why aren't you there yet? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I can totally see this being a game I do put down, and then, I'm getting on a flight and I don't have something else, and I jump into that and I do a run that is just like, cool, let's just buy all this stuff to get our feet wet and then come back and try to figure it out. But mods had never even entered the equation for me. But again, you make a great point, especially being so far along and Barrett being at hour 9 of this boss fight, where I just would never do that. Like, it would be eventually of like, I'm either not good enough, or that's when I look up a strategy and I do it. Because that's the other thing I've been actively avoiding, where people pop up and they are like on the BS. That's Blue Sky Tim. Where they're like, oh man, I can't, I'm this, that, and I'm not looking at even the IGN one where I was like, were they talking about who I think they're talking? Oh, fuck that guy. I got that idiot. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and again, like, it's been so much fun playing this with Ben because he's the little Statler and Waldorf next to me where he just has no filter or whatever. And so fucking when I ran up against Lace the first time, right? And like Ben, I died like 2 or 3 times in a row. And Ben's like, all right, let's play something else. I'm like, no, Ben, like we gotta beat this.
We gotta lock in,
we
Ben.
Gotta beat it. And Ben just goes, I don't think we can beat them. Ben was like, I don't think we can beat them. And then even before Lace, when it was just regular enemies, I put out this BS. That's a Blue Sky Tim. He goes, I'm sad because you keep dying. You know what I mean? And then another one, when I was playing, and he's just sitting there silently watching me. He just goes, everything gets daddy. Like I took another cheap ass hit. I was like, damn, man. Fucking stuff it up your ass.
I need him to grow up to be like a pro like game commentator, but not for like fighting games or anything. It's just watching other people play games.
Well, this is the problem, is that we set the expectations too high. Like I said, we started this whole Hollow Knight journey by watching Andy stream. And so Ben got to see Andy go and beat a boss and then send him this voice memo.
Special message.
What?
He's not even playing.
He did it. He beat him.
Yeah.
Can you say congratulations?
Congratulations to you, Andy.
Tell him how good he is.
You're just so good at this one. I can't even believe my eyes.
Couldn't even believe his eyes. So then he sees his fucking hot dog finger dad can't do a goddamn thing to anybody. Ready to quit. Oh, let's go. Dad, it's too tough. Let's play Hot Wheels Unleashed. We're gonna beat Lace, and we beat fucking Lace. And it was that thing of like beating Lace or whatever, in insert any of the bosses he's seen me play. It's that fucking thing of beating it and then turning to him and seeing his realization, like his eyes light up that we actually did. It's so cool.
Dude, you were mentioning in your initial impressions, Andy, about there's going to be some things for me that feel like the Final Destination one-on-one Smash Brothers shit, and that fight gave me that so much. I'm like, oh my god, I love this. Like, this is like such a thrilling gaming experience where I'm like, this is what it's all about, baby. I want her to come back where she at. I wanted to have rematch, baby.
The fast movement, the reflexes, like again, it's crazy to see. Even the way some of the trailers looked back in the day, of like all of that movement was still there. All of this stuff was like just always. She was always meant to control the way she does when she pops up in Hollow Knight and fights you a couple times. She's a very fast, agile character, and it's so cool unlocking that kit and slowly feeling like, man, I am just zooming past these enemies and being so acrobatic in ways that I look like the boss to these enemies. You know,
it's almost like you get to play as Zero.
Yes,
Kind of thing.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah.
God.
Really quick, I want to shout out just before I forget. One of the things that kind of like really solidify of like, this is definitely one of the favorites of the year already, even though I haven't beaten it. Who knows how long it'll end up taking me. It's just like, again, that feel of the world just constantly kind of evolving and changing around you. And it's like, I got to, I was banging my head against the wall against this fight, but going back and doing other things as well. And then going back and trying my hand at it again. But there was a moment where I went back to an area to check in on a character, and you after a while you start to recognize of like, okay, I know what enemies are here and there and whatnot. And I go back to an area, and I was like, oh yeah, this guy with like this big scepter or whatever is going to be here. Ended up being a completely different enemy, which then turned into an insane sequence that reminded me, like, that wouldn't have happened unless I came back here. And now I'm on like this whole crazy thread that I don't feel like would have like if that happens in any other Metroidvania, it's usually like a scripted thing that like you are funneled into. But it's because I made that choice to arrive at this area at this particular time, in the story, in the game, that landed me into a sequence that I would not have seen otherwise. It's just so like magical and special, and it's just like that extra ounce of like, man, this game feels like it's actually kind of living alongside me and not just like an interactive thing. It's really special.
It's all the conditionals. Those are always the most special things to me in gaming. It's the I'm happening. I wear, if you put on those shorts, those khaki shorts, and go talk to so and so, they're like, holy shit! You're wearing. Whoa, I didn't know you were a khaki short lover. Like, and all of that stuff is so cool.
A classic moment in Mario.
All of that stuff is so cool and special to me when it happens. And if you're doing things in certain orders, and to see the amount of people go, I haven't fought that boss. Why haven't I fought that? Oh shit, I missed it because of so and so. Like, it's awesome to experience this stuff along with everybody else experiencing these things at the same time. And yeah, all those conditional moments are why I love these games so much. Not only just Hollow Knight and Silksong, but so much of From Software's library. Liza P does an amazing job of it as well. And it must be a developer's nightmare to have people talk about, I love experiencing shit that only 3% of players might experience or whatever. Be like, I remember when we were checking out Split Fiction with Joseph Fares, and it was me and Mike playing it, and Joseph Fares was like, yeah, this shit is like so missable, but we still want to put all the love in for the people that do get to experience this very easily missable thing. And it sucks for the developers. They're like, fuck, nah. And people will hear about it and discover it, but, you know, to put so much love into something that, that's why Baldur's Gate 3 was so special as well. Like, 0.83 people experience this conversation, but it's awesome when it does happen because you feel like you are experiencing so much player agency, and you are having this special moment that is just for you because you went and did things a certain way, you know?
Yeah. Cool stuff.
One thing I want to point out, Kevin, can you bring up the drawings from Slack? We've been doing a giveaway. We did this giveaway where
You're so
good.
if you gifted 10 subs, that equals you get thrown into the raffle one time. That's one entry. There are some people that have gifted 50 subs during the marathon stream. That's 5 entries, right? So on and so forth. And
gorgeous.
if you all have gifted those subs, we will be selecting the final winners on Friday. There's still time to get your 10 gifted subs in. And we have one of the winners, Sprat Scotch, wanted me to draw Sherma, which I was so pumped up about because Sherma rocks.
This is so good.
And there will be a couple of other winners. One other winner was Queslight12, who has not responded to any of the Twitch Whispers. If you're listening to this right now, Queslight, Twitch Whisper us back, which we know Twitch Whispers are not the most used function at all on that website, but that's the easiest way to get directly back to the Twitch channel to say, I want Andy to draw this and this for me. Here's my name. Here's my shipping address. We'll ship all these out. We have one more winner to select for the custom art, and we also have the winner the final winner, which will win the journal of where I'm kind of just like cataloging the experience with the bosses and things like that, and all the little notes and places that I'm going and people I'm seeing. It's this was the kind of like the final giveaway thing. So 2 winners yet to be selected. Get your drawings or get your 10 subs in, and we will pick a winner. The final winner's on Friday.
Awesome. Andy, I know that we give you a lot of props for your talents all the time. That's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Like,
dude.
I
Thank
can't
you.
believe how sick
These watercolors have just changed my life. I love these damn watercolors.
So
and they
damn
are
sick.
called Chromatech watercolors. I get asked
Are
all
they
the
pens
time.
or brushes or?
They're markers that are like bristled.
Oh.
And
both.
and then there's there are a couple of markers or a couple of the bristle that you pour water into. And so on another side, I'm like mixing colors there and using the water to kind of mix and thing. Yeah, Chromatech, TEK at the end on Amazon. Those are the ones I've been buying, and those rock.
Those are neat.
Hell yeah. Andy, has there been things that you're not loving about the game?
Yeah, I would say the early level of difficulty. I think that some early bosses could have only taken away 1 tick and still have been not as challenging, but still have put up a challenge. I think that the difficulty ramp starts off a lot stronger than Hollow Knight and doesn't give you a whole lot of room to it doesn't. There's not a whole lot of room to go up because it starts off always that
So
hard.
hard, yeah.
And I wish that they had kind of leveled that down a bit. I wish that some of the environmental hazards only did 1 tick of damage, but some of them end up doing 2, and that certainly sucks. I would say on the plus side of things, for quality of life, these mission trackers are really cool. That's way further than I thought that they would do. Like the fact that you can open up your start menu and you can see these missions that you've picked up at these certain little towns, and you can keep track of where you're at. That's kind of shocking to me. That seems like something that would have been modded in because the Hollow Knight didn't really have anything like that. It was just, you just play the game and you hope to remember that you found that one item that this one NPC was looking for. But it is really nice that they are so descriptive about where to go and where to find that person. And maybe it's not going to put it on the map, but you can put a marker there. So there is still some of that, this is my playthrough. I am putting down these pins. I am putting down these markers to remember where NPCs are. So yeah, I would say early difficulty, a skosh too high, but on the plus side, I think the player onboarding and tutorializing has been really cool. And those small quality of life things are really awesome. That I just didn't expect anything like that from a game like this, where they kind of take pride in the obtuseness of the experience and you discovering things on your own. I think it's nice knowing that a lot of people are playing this game, and we saw Hollow Knight numbers skyrocketing
Insane.
before Silksong came out. And it is really cool that it isn't the most punishing experience possible for new players. But holy shit, like, I don't know when we'll possibly get sales numbers. I don't know when that
They'll
happens
casually come
usually.
out in like 3 years and be like, oh yeah, it sold like 30 million.
Yeah,
Cool,
like
see ya, bye.
I don't know where those numbers get tracked, but the fact that Steam only had over 500K, and that was only concurrent.
And it broke all the stores.
It broke all of the stores, but like only, it was concurrence only, not sales on Steam.
Right.
That's 500K. I don't know the day one sales, but I'm gonna assume around 3 something million, because all of the other consoles still had to sell. Xbox Game Pass was an option, and you could get it and just download it there if you have Game Pass. But
That's where I got it.
man, they are going to be sitting pretty for another while, and we'll see Hollow Knight 3 in about a decade. It's insane. It's crazy.
Barrett, what about you? Are the things that you're not loving so far?
I was thinking like the mask system where you're putting like little items on your what is it called, Andy? The
Crests.
the crests. The one thing is I don't love the compass thing. I wish that was just like a permanent
I
thing
was
that
about
you
to say
had.
that. Yeah.
That's like one of those like quality of life things where I'm like, we could have changed that a little bit, right? Besides that, yeah, I would say like little things here and there of like, yeah, like running into spikes should be like, it's one of those weird ones where like the initial hitting the spike gets you a health down, and then like blowing up again to like go back to like whatever platform you're on takes off another thing of health. It's like, all right, come on. Little things like that, but overall I've had such a great time with it. I've only had one technical bug, not the
Little guy bug.
Not an insect.
not an insect. Very unfortunate. There's a very tough fight that I don't love. It is very RNG heavy in terms of how to get through it, and beat him. He falls off screen, and then like the arena usually will open up after, and the arena doesn't open up. I'm like, okay, here comes the second phase. Minute passes by, nothing, and I start hitting everything around the
shit.
arena,
Wow.
and eventually I was like, I just got to look up this boss fight. Whole sequence like that should have happened didn't happen in my
No.
playthrough, and I was scared I was stuck in the room.
Right, yeah.
And like even after reloading, I was scared I was going to be stuck, but I reloaded. It brought me back to the bench. I was like, all right,
Run it back.
time to run it back with this fucking RNG heavy fight, which really sucks. So that was tough. And then yeah, like the fight that I'm on, I will say is not a boss fight. That I've been stuck on for a while.
Interesting.
And that is it is the very clear. It's tough to critique it though, because it does feel very much like hey, you need to like once you beat this, you're gonna have the rest of the game down. This is like our challenge to you to like fucking figure it out type of thing.
Masterclass kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's one of the, like, it reminds me a little bit of like some people will understand this. I think one of the late bosses in Persona 5 Royal that is just like the difficulty spike is ridiculous, and you're just like, how this feels like bullshit, but that fight is really teaching you like, hey, you've been playing a certain way. Let's try to help you understand the deeper ways and to be playing this. And so it's just one of those things where I'm almost there, but I'm not quite.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's, you know, the only big like kind of head scratchers. Everything else I'm just absolutely head over heels for.
Let me not get hurt by a downed creature. Let me not get hurt by a downed boss.
Classic.
When they're like
Classic
dizzy or
clip.
whatever.
If I touch your thigh,
Yeah.
like there was, and that's just the way Hollow Knight's always been. And I think a lot of that, your mind sort of expects different things from certain games like this because Prince of Persia would let you just dash through people, and that's your iframes. Mandragora, which was another Metroidvania that came out earlier this year. Fantastic game so far, but that one lets you, like, the whole concept is like dodge roll, through them, and now you're behind him, and those are your iframes. But yeah, like I totally understand, although frustrating, getting hurt by an enemy that is running into you. But I would just get so annoyed at the amount of times of, like, I think Savage Beastfire was one of the ones that when it drops down on you, that was like, oh, that sucks that when you stun it, it drops down and can hurt you.
Yep.
But then I had unlocked a special move that I really, really liked, and so I wanted it to kind of like a larger AoE type move, and I wanted to really kind of envelop all of that beast fly when I was on it. So I wanted to kind of dash into it, then use that move, and dashing, I would get her like, oh, that's right. You're down on the ground. You hurt me. It still sucks.
Yeah,
I don't like that, It not that it's led to like a whole lot of deaths lately. It's just more of an annoyance.
Yeah.
Like, I think the game would still be hard if I wasn't getting hurt by a downed enemy,
Yeah, that's one of those, like, everything, like, not having those iframes almost feels like, especially in a 2D, like, Metroidvania, feels like very weird and off-putting, but it feels so inspired by, like, every movement needs to be thought out, like a Souls game. But I think, yeah, like, the downed enemies feels like almost an overcorrection of that in a way. That's one that I definitely forgot about, and also get frustrated whenever it comes up.
So far, though, I don't really have any bosses that I haven't loved. Regardless of difficulty, beating beating some of the tougher ones and just being so pumped up about how awesome the moveset was and what was required of the player and how it ramped up. And sure, there were a couple of times where I was like, oh, we were fine with 2 phases. We don't need more. Like, we were fine ending it here.
Yeah.
Why would you add on this extra little? But then by the end of it, it's just, I think they have been so supremely designed, man. Like, the most recent one I just did on stream last night, it's far and away the most different of all the other ones that I've experienced so far, but so cool and so creative. And the story that it's even telling while doing it and getting all this context from the world in that moment, it's goddamn,
It's
like,
beautiful.
what a goaty list this is going to be. This is one of the strongest lists of all time.
Yeah, of the 18 named bosses that I've fought, there's only one boss I actively dislike, and everything else has been such a fun time, even though despite how frustrating some of them can get because of that downloading and learning to master and figuring everything out. And yeah, the storytelling that it all does at the same time.
Greg, what about you? Are there any things that you're not loving about it?
No, I'm taking the game as it comes, right? It comes to me. So I really don't have much to critique. I feel I'm enjoying what they're laying out for me. I enjoy learning the new enemies, whether they be small or big bosses or something to that effect. The compass is a good one because it is. I haven't gotten to a point where I feel like I need to switch it out. I have other things to put in there, but it's like I'm always so fucking lost to start the game. You know what I mean? To learn it. For me, that discovery of the new area and figuring it out and the nooks and crannies. And then I know I can't, we've all played Metroidvania. So it was like, jumping on, I can't get to there. Like at the dash, I'll be back. And you get the dash and you come back. Like that exploration of it is so much fun that, like, I'm sure eventually I'll need to switch it out when I feel like I'm grinding something or I know the area well. But yeah, I'm having a great time. You?
Yeah, I mean, the compass thing's big for me. Like, that just feels obtuse for the sake of being obtuse. Like, I don't know why it needs to take up an item slot. Like, just let me have the option to turn it on or off if I want. And I feel like that just comes down to a lot of my criticisms of the game. Like, I understand why they did it, but I do think just giving options and having all these things that people are making mods for just as options, like Prince of Persia Lost Crown did, where I didn't use those, but the fact that they were there for that game, I think makes it a better game. And I think it's more accessible to more people. And so I do wish that there were more tuning options here, because I do think for this game I would use some of them without any shame. I don't care. I want to experience the game.
And like especially like post 9 Souls that did a lot of like not just like things like compass, but difficulty options and all that stuff in the back end for 9 Souls. Like you can go and percent wise change a lot of stuff that I think would have. Granted, this is a small team as well.
Yep.
But like I think some of that stuff, like I get people having a vision, but I think like some things on the back end to help with an experience like this. I
just love that stuff. I love the options, and to me, that is a plus when games have it, and it's a minus when games don't. So I do look at it as a tarnish on an amazing experience, an amazing video game for me. And yeah, just so far, my experience with the crests, I always feel like I want to be able to do more than I'm given in one kit. And I get that that's the design of them trying to limit you, but the system you were talking about in Hollow Knight 1 of having like the different costs,
The charms, yeah.
that sounds cool to me. Like I kind of feel like I would prefer that just in theory so far, because I do feel like there's a couple abilities and items that I have that I'm like, I don't want to use these, like throwing the little like knives or whatever. I'm just like, I'm never using that.
Oh, I do it all the
man,
time.
I
We're
do
like,
it all
oh
the
fuck,
time.
you're scary.
Yeah.
Stay away from me.
So I don't know. It's like I do think maybe it's just like so far where my journey has taken me. Like I'm still like there's a couple things that I've heard you guys talk about that I'm like, I didn't get those. So like maybe I just need to go back and find some things. But
I've got a like a poison add-on that adds poison to the other moves, the knives and projectiles.
Sick.
So like you hit them once and then you see a poison after the fact tick them for another damage. So it's like do and it's like I'm doing extra here. It just it feels awesome. The projectiles I feel like have early on was like, oh, but they use those metal pieces. I'm gonna want to be really, really careful, dude. The last several fights, it's like it's so built into my attack plan. You know,
cool.
they're awesome.
I'm excited for that. Let's get to some super chats to close out the show here.
Super chat.
JB says, I just got to Act 2, but I'm already confident it's between this and Expedition 33 for Game of the Year.
Agreed.
Same.
I loved while I was streaming having somebody pop in and be like, damn, I just got to Act 2. And I was like, what the fuck? There's an Act 2?
I mean, honestly, that's been me today, too.
And then
just hearing everyone you see in the chat talk about Act 2, I'm like, oh my God.
And then you remember that it starts off with Act 1. And you're like, oh shit, that's right. That was such a long time ago, though.
And like again, that it does that thing so well of getting lost in an area for a while and then you loop back around to an area you've been before and you're like, oh fuck, right. And like they do that with the Act 1 thing where you kind of get to a point where you think you're getting to the end of the game, then you get past that point and then it says Act 2 and you're like, oh fuck, right. Okay, this game's real big.
Trevor says, I'm close to the end of Act 1, but I absolutely love this game, and it's tied right now with Expedition 33 for my Game of the Year. Love that.
Tools are very important too. Yeah, I got to use more of them tools from the Forge Sister. If you remember the Forge Sister, big lady in that sort of like fire area after you fight Lace.
Yeah.
Kind of around the Lace fight. You can buy tools from her that I haven't utilized yet, but I want to just after seeing how much people love them. Little like spike things to leave on the ground in case there's ads in the match where, you know, maybe one of the ad on the ground while you're dealing with the savage beast fly, the ad will kind of hit that trap and get hurt by it and killed or whatever. So there's a lot of stuff out there. Kind of reminds you a lot of Elden Ring where there's a lot of tools to be used and it's up to you to utilize them.
Two little things that you said just remind me that I really love about the game. One is I love how the enemies can hurt each other. Not all the time, but like there'll be times where like you're in a boss fight and like then there's like little dudes that they send
Savage
out.
Beast Fly was a lot of that,
and like you kind of like can not control, but lead him to ground pound on them and kill the little guys, which I was like, this is satisfying as hell and like very, very cool. And the other thing is the like Souls-like thing of when you die, being able to go back and pick up your shit, right, from there where your silk is. I love that even just as a map function, because I feel like some Metroidvanias do a great job with this, but some don't, where you die and you're like, fuck, where was I?
Yeah.
Like, how did I get there?
Yep,
So
yep, yep.
having that little like icon on your map of where you're going, I'm like, oh, this is, probably not the intention of this, but it's been very helpful for me.
Yeah.
For sure.
Shout out to the item that helps that system of like losing stuff feel a bit more like Shovel Knight than a Souls game in terms of like currency and all that stuff. Which is, I recommend. I think I got that early game, so I recommend looking around for that.
Zeke Speak says, did y'all see Jason Schreier's skeet about how more games need to stop spending millions on graphics and give the people what they want? A shit ton of weird little guys.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. We will reference little guys forever. And then,
I mean, Nick's gonna work here a long time, so yeah.
yes, exactly. He is such a weird little guy. Juan Paulo says, listen to 6 hours of one composer's soundtracks, Hiroyuki Sawano. Tim, if you don't lose your marbles, I'd be surprised. Attack on Titan Suite is my fave. I'll have to check that out. Thank you for the recommendation. And Zeke says, who's your favorite character and why is it Sherma? I'm shout out to Sherma.
Shakira.
Now for me, it's Chakra.
Yep.
Yeah,
100%.
Chakra is the fucking go.
Tell me one more time.
She rocks.
And then Trevor says, don't forget to use the tools. Tools help a lot. And then Zeke Speak says, Crest of Choice, boys. I'm loving Reaper for general and Beast for bosses. Also, Claw Boomerang Tools A+. That and the Triple Kunai are always on. I don't know
Reaper.
half the words you just said.
Yeah, I know. I
It
haven't got what you're
excites me.
talking about.
Reaper rules. That's the one with the better down pogo.
Yep.
The less confusing down pogo where it's not directional. It's just a general kind of all encompassing beneath you.
Swipe.
Just the way the old school Hollow Knight worked as well. Yeah, that's definitely a lot easier for pogos. But then I also found like a neat upgrade to the general, the first sort of
The Hunter.
yeah, the hunter badge or hunter
Crest.
God, emblem, badge, charm.
Always a scourge.
All of those, yeah. I got an upgrade for that. That is really neat. Where if you're at full silk, you do more damage. So like little things like that will kind of lead me towards one or the other. And again, it just kind of reminds me of my favorite thing of Souls games, or going to a boss fight and thinking, all right, well, this one isn't working out. Let me try this other badge. Let me try this other crest and see if things are a little bit easier to figure out. It's awesome.
Yeah. What's the word on the Beast? Should I care about this?
The what?
The Beast one?
I heard the Beast one kind of sucks, and I don't like the moveset either. I don't like the down pogo, where you kind of do a cartwheel forward, and it just seems
feels weird.
really odd.
But some people have enjoyed it because of the bonus of binds to enter a wild fury and steal life from prey. So then there's like this kind of balance, it's like the vampire kind of thing that you always like in games as well. So
life steal.
So there, some positives, some negatives with it.
I just haven't been able to vibe with it. I switched back immediately.
Yeah,
I'm like, I can't believe
same.
this is what I got for all of my efforts.
But yeah, shout out to the Reaper. I only changed the Reaper to try to attempt to beat this fight yesterday, and the cool thing where like it knocks silk out of enemies, so you can collect more silk and stuff like that. Like that's really helpful as well. So
very cool. Well, this has been a review so far of Hollow Knight Silksong. We will obviously keep y'all updated through our progress of the video game, and I'm sure it'll end up somewhere on our Game of the Year list with how much we're all loving it so far. Barrett?
there was a question that was asked at the beginning of the show, Tim.
Oh, you're right.
That
You're
Andy
right.
needs
Thank
to
you.
answer.
HK or KH?
Or
Oh, fuck.
Kingdom Hearts.
Honky Kong.
Shit.
What'd you say?
Honk-
Harry
honk?
Cotter?
Harry Cotter.
Oh, everybody, if you're watching live, if you're on Twitch, you can stay right where you are. But if you're on YouTube, you got to make the jump over to Kind of Funny in Review for Cuckoo, the Conjuring Cinematic Universe
I can't
in
wait.
review. Greg has something
I
planned.
will change your life. Your life will never be the same.
Yay.
You will think about me till the day you die if you watch this.
I hate this so much. We'll see you there. Bye.